Okay, Glass, start the show. Welcome to Top Shelf. My name's David Pierce, and on this show we talk about, well, lots of things, but mostly consumer electronics, past, present, future, cool, terrible, all that stuff. This week, we're live. We're talking about some of our favorite things with some of our favorite people. We're going to be taking your calls, but first, we're talking to Ellis Hamburger, our reporter and resident dude who likes apps.
Hey,
I feel like that's like mostly how I describe it.
I'm an app freak.
How many apps do you have on your iPhone? Are you like the guy with like 48 pages of apps and you're like, hold on, I have to find my calendar, I'll be there in 20 minutes?
They're all nestled within color-coded folders, though.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Like,
I've seen that done
just
before, though.
Really? He's like, oh, all my blue apps are in here. And my
Some
red
people
apps...
actually do that. Some people have folders, like one folder is called Eat, one folder is called Watch, and they have
really
it like
upsetting.
that. And I kind of like that.
If you have a folder of apps about eating, like, you suck, and I don't like you. And that's how I feel.
I have a folder just of hamburger-related apps.
Well, all right, that's fair. I can't argue with that. So you have apps that you like.
Yeah.
Right? You're like Mr.
Several.
I try all the apps, and most apps are terrible. Mm-hmm. But what are good apps? Tell me about good apps right now. What are you into?
So one of my current favorite apps is called Day One. And it's a journal app, and it's kind of like a private Twitter in a way. So you write down all the little things that you might not want to tell everybody. And I'm the kind of guy who like uses Twitter as a weird kind of weirdo poetry that I pretend nobody else can read.
I call that the Laura June model of Twitter. I feel like she invented it, now everybody else does it.
And I'm with that.
Where it's like you don't use punctuation, you just have like thoughts sometimes.
Right. But sometimes I want something just for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to type something like, oh man, Joshua Topolsky just tweeted one of my articles. All right.
Big day.
And one of the nice new features about Day One is that you can actually add tags to it. So I might say, oh man, Joshua Topolsky just tweeted one of my articles, and I'll say, yeah. So if you can crop in on that a little bit. And now I'm going to have that in my Dropbox for the rest of my life.
And
you know, I can export to PDF. I can do all sorts of stuff.
So it's like you're basically keeping a journal, and you can do like pictures and your location and stuff like that too, right? Like, why keep a diary? I feel like I just tweet like all the stuff I'm doing in my life, and then like Foursquare is all the weird places I go when I remember. Like, why would I keep a diary?
I mean, you don't need to be some crazy diary writer.
Right.
It's just like little thoughts here and there, and you know, those are the types of things that you return to that you really, really value. Like, let's say you told a really great joke and everyone loved it. Don't you want to remember that joke?
I kind of do, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like that's never happened.
That kind of stuff.
Like, so why did the chicken cross the road? And you're like, oh, they all laughed. This was great.
Because Neeli peer pressured it into it.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's Day One.
I like that.
And another app.
And Day One, there's like apps all over the place, right? You can do it like on your Mac and online, maybe?
Yep.
And there's
no
like
web
password
version.
stuff. Okay.
They got Mac, iPhone, and iPad.
Okay.
So I really like that one. Cool guys behind it. And it just works really well. Yeah, it is pretty. I think they won the Apple Design Award for Mac apps this year, which is pretty impressive.
Good for them. Yeah.
So that's a
what
good
else?
one.
Okay. Mr. Diary guy.
So yesterday, Vine added front-facing camera support. How about that, huh?
This is like the most earth-shattering feature that has ever happened.
Oh yeah.
To an app.
Well, you see, I mean, that's how a lot of people use Snapchat, right?
Right.
They use it to say like, you say, hey, check out this sweet trick my cat did.
Right.
And I'm going to respond like, oh my God. And that's cool and all, but Snapchats are like dead forever, right? So what I might respond, you're like, let's say you say, hey, Josh Topolsky just tweeted an article of mine.
This is all purely hypothetical.
And I'm going to respond something like, oh my God. And then you hit the check mark. And look. Something like, oh my God. Something like, oh my God.
I'm going to watch this for the rest of my, like, I'm never going to stop watching
And then I'll say, Josh Topolsky tweeted my article. And then I'm going to post it. And a new feature as well as they added, or alongside the front-facing camera, is now you can tag people.
Really?
So I could tag Josh, and then
Is it just like it's like Twitter, right? Where you can just mention whoever you want on Twitter, or do they have to be on Vine? I have never used Vine.
They gotta be. You never used Vine?
Never once. So it's like, you know how there's the new banner when you download a new app on your phone?
It's still there?
It's still there on my phone. I've never once. I don't know why. I think I'm like intimidated to get into Vine now. It's like if I do it, I'd feel like it would have to be really good all the time.
I felt like that back in the Instagram days. I felt late. And you just got to work your way up, you know? You just got to work your way up. It's never too late to start a new app,
then I see like Rondo's Vines. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, Rondo, one of our video producers, is the best person at Vine that has ever existed. It's like a work of art every time, and I'm just really intimidated by that. He's like the Ansel Adams of Vine. Rondo. Follow him on Vine. He's
By the way, if you're on Twitter right now, you can actually... You can check that Vine out.
And just watch it for the rest of your life. So do you use Snapchat? You mentioned Snapchat. I thought Snapchat was dead. And then it turns out everyone we work with uses Snapchat. Like every single person except for me, apparently.
It's kind of like, you know, as I was saying earlier, I like poetry. And it's a kind of visual poetry.
To write in your day one. Is that where you write poems in day one?
Yep.
Like about
and
Josh Polsky tweeting your
links. My exploding, self-destructing poetry in Snapchat.
Sure.
That's private and just for my friends.
Okay.
And explodes in 10 seconds.
So it's like the exploding poetry, and then the selfies poetry, and then the actual poetry goes in day one.
And I mean,
This is the whole thing.
You think I was letting loose on Vine? Wait till you see the snaps.
Noted.
They get even more.
I expect
aggressive.
snaps. I expect snaps from you.
The only thing about
Nobody
Snapchat
snaps me. Never.
Is that it's hard. You can't see if somebody sent you a snap or if they sent you and 10 other people a snap. So let's say they send you something really sweet like, "You look great today," and then you feel all good, and then and then the person next to you is like, "Oh man, can't believe Rondo said I look great today," and you're thinking, "Thought that was just for me."
Or like a dick pic. You're like, I'm the only one, and then it turns out it was everybody.
Yeah.
Really,
I'm excited for some Snapchat mistakes. So another app I really like is Ridiculous Fishing.
Yes.
And it is ridiculous, and it is fishing.
So
but
explain
the game
mechanic
is what makes it so fun.
Explain how this works.
So basically, you let down your lure, you try and dodge as many fish as you can.
Right.
And you can even use chainsaws and stuff like that. You know, just like in real life.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a toaster you use that just kills a fish sometimes.
Yep.
It's a whole, it makes sense. It's like normal fishing.
So the art's great. It's really realistic in terms of the types of fish you can catch.
That's true.
And on the way up, you try and catch as many fish as you can. And then, once it gets to the surface, all the fish fly into the air, and you blow them up with a minigun.
It all makes such perfect sense when you explain it.
Yeah. So here's Ridiculous Fishing. Let's go fishing here for a second.
So the thing I love about this game, I play this a lot on my iPad especially, and the thing I love is you can like buy power-ups, so you get money for all these guns, right? And I bought like an Uzi, and you just demolish
That's the chainsaw, by the way.
It's amazing. Yeah. And you just eat fish for lunch.
All right, so I think I only got one more life. So I'm going to try and catch as many as I can on the way up here.
The thing about this, like watching you do this right now, it doesn't look fun at all, but it's just
like
astonishingly
really fun and addicting.
Yeah.
And this level's called the Maelstrom, and it's the only level that doesn't have a bottom.
Oh,
I'm
really?
having trouble doing
wow,
this.
you're a lot further than I am in this game.
I didn't catch too many fish, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
You rack up some points, you buy some cool hats, and it's fun. That's about it.
It's one of those things where like I live in Brooklyn, and I have a friend who lives in Astoria, which is like an hour and 20 minutes on the subway.
Yeah.
And I just like started going to his place more often. I was like, I'll just play some Ridiculous Fishing. It'll be totally fine. I'll just play for like 8 hours a day, and it won't be a big deal.
Yeah.
It's great.
And you still probably have 2 fish left to get.
I probably do.
I
don't think I'm very far in this game. Which is sort of upsetting. Like you have cooler
There are message
guns
boards
than I do.
dedicated to the different depths at which certain fish occur.
I believe that.
And you know, I got it bookmarked.
Have you played Fish Out of Water? That's the other game I'm super into.
No,
right
I
now.
haven't. I know you're into it.
It's
you
ridiculous.
talk about it all the time.
So I wrote a thing, and it doesn't make any sense that the game's fun, but then you like get scores out of 10, and like 3 games after this comes out, Ross Miller sends me a picture. He got a perfect 10, and now I'm like obsessed with this game, and I can't stop.
You don't really have
until
much
I
of a
beat
choice.
Ross.
Work or beat Ross.
It's not. I mean, it's not even a fair comparison. So what else? Give me one more cool app that you're into right now.
One more cool app. Let's see. Well,
Are you like a weather app dude? I feel like you're crazy about weather stuff.
I like weather apps.
Yeah, it seems like
Here's a
it's like
weather
you
app.
and Dan Seifert. You're like, let's try all the weather apps.
This one's called Today Weather, and this is the best app I've found to balance lots of information with great looks.
Okay.
And there's even radar from the Dark Sky API, and if you can see that, so your main screen, you've got New York. You have the high, the low, some really nice art. You have the wind and the precipitation, next few hours. But then the cool thing that I like the most, you go this way, you get hourly forecast.
Nice.
And most apps do this in some weird, ugly way, but this one's great. And it just keeps going. It's not just today. And you swipe to this panel, and you have a really cool graphic for the whole week.
That is really cool.
So let's say you want to do, you can have
Detroit.
a few different, that's where I'm from. So you can pinch
wow.
out, and you can like get a better glimpse if you want of what's going on. Let's say if you're a cool traveler guy.
Right.
And you frequently go between San Francisco and London and Bangkok, and like I know you do to test out new cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I do that for LTE speeds.
It's a great app.
I go to Bangkok.
It's my favorite weather app.
That's awesome.
At least for now.
For like 20 minutes, and then there'll be something
for the next
else.
25 minutes at least.
You know what I'm super into is the Yahoo weather app. It is the ugliest icon on my phone by far, but it's like pretty, and they have pictures of buildings, and that's apparently all I care
Isn't
about.
the Yahoo logo like in that icon 3 different times?
Yeah,
it's
let me
like
see
the
this.
big Y, and then it
Let me see
says
if I can find
Yahoo,
this
and then the icon actually says Yahoo itself.
Yeah, it's really upsetting actually. So you can see, see this, the icon on here.
What are the ladies gonna think?
Where it says weather, it's purple and it says weather, but it's mostly like Yahoo, and it's just hideous. But the app itself is really nice, and it's got pictures of bridges and clouds, and like I'm like an 8-year-old kid. All I need is bridges and clouds, and I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
All right, Ellis, go play Fish Out of Water, and go play Ruzzle.
Okay.
This is the new my family. I like grew up playing Scrabble, and Ruzzle is like the coolest word game I've ever played. Like,
I'm gonna have a Ruzzle party.
Letterpress is for chumps.
Every time,
I'm just gonna say that.
Every time somebody ruzzes, it's take a shot, and it's gonna be great.
That's gonna be we're all gonna die. All right, Ellis, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. So with me now to talk about bigger, considerably more expensive things is Chris Ziegler, who is. He's a man of mystery, really. He's in Chicago, and he loves cars, probably more than anything except for Nike high tops. And Chris, you're joining us now. Hello, Chris.
David, my needs are simple. I only want the finest things in life.
Just like the really cool high tops to drive your BMWs.
That's right.
Is that basically
That's right.
all? Yeah.
Yes.
So you've been like Mr. Car guy. I feel like we didn't really cover cars, and then you were like, what we're going to do now is write about cars a lot because I like cars and want to write in cars.
I'm on the car beat, man.
You kind of are, and you like invented it for us, which is cool. So tell me about cool cars. You wrote a thing about the Porsche 959, which was nifty.
I did.
But you've also done, you've seen a lot of cool stuff recently. Tell me what you're into.
Well, I think it kind of started with the with CES this year, right, where we covered the Lexus self-driving car and the Audi self-driving car, where they actually had a demo on site that we did a video for. You should check it out if you haven't. In fact, we talked about it on a Top Shelf episode at CES. Now that I think about it. And then, of course, we did the Tesla. I don't want to call it a review, but the Tesla feature shortly thereafter.
The Chris drives a Tesla piece.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of Chris drives X in the future, in my perfect future. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I think that over the course of the next 5 years, there's going to be such an amazing growth in technology in the automotive industry. The car industry is notoriously slow in catching up to the kind of technology that we cover, and there are some good reasons for that. One of which is that the car industry is physically not in Silicon Valley historically. Of course, Tesla is, but everybody else is kind of isolated in Detroit, which is not a particularly. It's becoming more tech savvy now. In fact, there are a lot of cool startups there now. But
or
historically,
in
it hasn't
Germany,
or
Asia,
in Germany, in Germany, yeah. So that's one thing. But then also, I think even more importantly is the fact that they are subject to many regulations. Frankly, they're hamstrung by regulation in a way that most industries aren't. So, if they want to like invent like a new cool kind of tail light, it takes like 5 years of wrangling with every government in the world to allow them to do that. In fact, right now, Audi is arguing with the U.S. Department of Transportation over this new headlight that they've invented called matrix lighting, where they can dynamically change the throw of the light based on where oncoming traffic is, so that there's never any glare to the oncoming driver. And they won't let him sell it here because it's going to require like years and years and years of testing and certification. So that's the kind of thing they have to deal with.
Wait, so is this like these lights you're talking about? Is this the kind of thing where like the guy with his brights on who blinds you forever and you kind of want to murder them in their car? Is that like this could end that, and they're not letting it happen because there's regulation in place getting rid of it?
Right.
Is that the problem?
Right.
That's
Yep.
awful.
That's
That's like
exactly
really
it.
upsetting.
So the next time a driver is blinding you on the road, you can thank the U.S. government.
I'll just say thanks, Obama, and that'll be that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because
what else?
Obamacare is my standard.
Yeah, it's Obamacare's fault. Yeah.
In February, I checked out, I live in Chicago, went to the Chicago Auto Show on a media pass, and had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time, not driving, but checking out the Cadillac ELR.
By the way, this was vacation for you, right? You took time off to go to the Chicago Auto Show.
I did. This is a true story.
Okay.
Last year, I actually took 2 days of vacation and covered both media days. Today, I just went for one, or this year, I just went for one.
Nice.
But yeah, I checked out the Cadillac ELR, which it's based on the same Voltec platform as the Chevy Volt. So they call it an extended range hybrid. It can drive 35 or 36 miles on electric alone, just like a Tesla. And then when you run out of juice, it transitions over to a gas engine. Then you drive on that until you have the opportunity to charge again. The difference being that the ELR is a coupe, and it's much, much, much more stylish than the Volt is. The Volt is kind of a nerdy-looking car, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And the ELR is really pretty, both inside and out. And so that'll go on sale early next year, and I'm really looking forward to checking that out. But in terms of favorites, I can't call it the ELR a favorite yet because I haven't driven it.
Fair.
But I am going to call the Mercedes-Benz SLS electric drive a favorite without having driven it.
Really? So
just
why?
Because
what's so special about that?
Because it's like a 700 horsepower electric car. First of all, it's an
That's kind of all
it's
you
based
need
on
to
the
say,
SLS.
really.
Right. It's based on the SLS, so it's a gull wing. It's just a gorgeous vehicle, and then they throw an electric motor on every wheel that generates a total of something like 700 horsepower. So as you can imagine, this is just an absurdly quick car that will glue you to the back of your seat. And the model that they've been showing, the prototype, is painted in this like bizarre metallic. I don't know if it's like a Mylar wrap or if it's actually painted, but it's got this bright metallic look that looks like it literally like came in on a meteor. There's no other way to put it. Like it's like this bright blue, like it's insane.
This car looks
Google
like a
it right
transformer.
now.
Like it might kill you at any moment, and
it might
you'd be
actually
like, well,
turn.
this is how I'd go. It's fine.
Yes, it might actually turn into not an Autobot. What's the Decepticon?
Decepticon.
It might turn into a Decepticon and murder you. But please, by all means, Google this car and check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
And then buy one for Chris Ziegler.
Yes, buy one for me.
So is this a car of $1 billion? Is this like,
yes?
Are regular people ever going to be able to buy this car or anything like it?
The SLS electric drive? No, absolutely not. So the base price on the standard SLS, which is just a gas-powered car, is something on the order of $200,000, and then the electric drive, I'm assuming the pricing might be out there. I don't know. First of all, it's not going to be sold in the U.S. At least that's what Mercedes-Benz told me. Secondly, where it is going to be sold, it's going to be sold for much, much more than the internal combustion version, and I'm assuming it's going to be sold in very limited numbers anyway, because this technology is still young. They're still working out the kinks. I'm guessing these are going to be hand-built. So yeah, get out your checkbook.
So is there anything in terms of like normal cars for normal people, even not specific cars, but like technology or anything that you're seeing that's really cool that you've either gotten to drive or just see that's awesome, and like when I buy a car, I might actually get this? Other than there's an iPod dock in my car, which is not that awesome.
Well, we wrote. So I'll answer that in two ways. One of the really big tropes right now in the automotive world is the concept of this really highly integrated center stack where you can plug in your phone, and sometimes it has a 3G or 4G connection, can do all these different things, has smartphone apps that can connect to the car and add like Spotify or RDO or Slacker or whatever. Those stacks are very young, and I think that when you look at even this second, if you go out and look at like a Focus with Ford Sync, or you look at like Chevy MyLink, or you look at Hyundai Uvo or Kia or whoever's Uvo or Blue Link or all these different stacks. They're very, very young and immature and not particularly easy to use. Cadillac Q is another example, which is what the ELR is going to have. And I think it's going to take some time for these guys to really work out how to do this in a way that's in sync with the level of UX design and usability that we have in like the smartphone world, for instance. So we're not there yet. It's going to take years. So that's the first part of my answer. Second part is if you look at like the Fiat 500e, which we wrote about recently. This is electric car, not particularly expensive, has decent range, and for urban dwellers, you know, driving the Tesla really opened my eyes. I was always like a super like EV skeptic. I hated the things. I hated the concept. And I still have a problem with the lack of infrastructure. But in major cities, it's not that big of an issue, especially if you're not driving very much or you're not driving very long distances. So if you look at the 500e, that's going to be, I think that's for many people, that's going to be their first like practical introduction to an EV, like a true EV, not something like a Volt or a hybrid.
Okay. So I have to let you go here, but I have exactly one more question for you. And to be honest, this is the only important thing I have to ask you. Fast and Furious 6. Yes. Is it going to be the best movie I've ever seen or the best movie anyone has ever seen ever? Those are your only two options, by the way.
The latter. The movie is going to be so good that Hollywood is literally going to be like, well, that's a wrap. There's nothing else we can do that's going to top this movie. We can shut it down. They're going to fire all the actors. It's going to be that good. Trust me.
Okay, I'm assuming so. I'm just going to buy a theater now and just live there watching this movie over and over for the rest of my life.
Do it, man.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Steal that Mercedes for me, and we will flee the country together, and everything will be wonderful.
You can count on me.
Perfect. All right, with me now, freshly back to the internet. Sort of freshly, I guess. I feel like you've done a lot in the last couple of days. But anyway, Paul Miller, welcome back.
Thank you.
So you're what? Are you 48 hours in yet? You're 36 hours in being on the internet.
36
something.
Sounds right.
Have you slept in these 36 hours?
Like 8 hours total,
okay.
Probably.
Just a lot of internet to catch up on.
Yeah, tonight. Last night got pretty bad.
What were you doing last night?
I found these like, I found this app for iPad for learning Latin. And there's like flashcards.
Interesting. Okay.
So I just started doing like tons and tons of flashcards. And I started doing flashcards for like English vocabulary and like mythology. I don't know. I just got.
So like, speak some Latin to me right now. Tell me.
Oh gosh, I don't know any Latin.
No, you don't. You got.
But if you gave me some flashcards with like a vocabulary range of like 20 flashcards, I could probably figure them out after like 5 times through.
That's really
good. That's where I'm at with my
Latin
right now.
We're improving.
I'm almost fluent.
Nice. Yeah, you're pretty close. And it's good because it's a language a lot of people use and speak all the time.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
You really want to know it.
No, I think this is going to bring me in line with modern culture.
Right. So what have you, like you've been back, what have you, we sort of foisted stuff on you when you first came back, like Vacuum Kitty, which has changed my life forever, by the way. I'd never seen it before you came back, so thank God you're back.
Wow.
So I get to see Vacuum Kitty.
Yeah.
But, so like what have you've had a chance to like explore yourself. Have you just spent the whole time looking at your email that you had 40 million of, or what have you gotten into?
So that first night I almost had like a panic attack. It was really like truly overwhelming.
Really? I bet, I'm sure
it was, I mean, just even having like a few tabs open, we take for granted how good we are at using the internet, but like I am not very good at it right now. And I'm just trying to relearn it. And so like I've watched some like silly videos and some silly GIFs and some people have given me some links, and my sister was over and she was showing me some of her favorite videos and stuff like that. I watched some music videos with my roommate, but like most of it is just like, I don't know, I'm sitting there on Twitter, sitting there in my email. I don't understand my email.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any past like the moment I came online. Like I haven't looked at the archives I have 22,000 unread emails. Wow. And I haven't gone back.
Are you going to even try, or are you just going to bail?
Well, the thing is like, what if there's a cool thing in there? You know?
Your 22,000 emails.
I want to like, if I was like a filter king and figure out a way to like ninja my way through.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Kyle Kramer, one of our video producers, or one of our video guys here, was going through his email. He was like inspired by you coming back. And he went through 19,000 emails in like the hour before you came back. So you should ask him. Man's got tips.
19,000?
He, I think, mostly was just selecting all and marking as red, and then got to the end and was I feel fantastic.
You wanted
now.
it just to look like it was all red.
I think so. Oh. He claimed he like dealt with it, but I think he was. Yeah. So what's like if we're talking about favorite things, right? So you've been back for 2 days. What's your favorite internet stuff that you missed?
I think it's obvious that I'm just crazy about Twitter.
Okay.
Like
you kind of came back with a vengeance.
Twitter was the thing that I missed the most, and like my mind still like worked in that way for like a month or two, where I'd be formulating tweets all the time, but I couldn't tweet them. And
did you keep like a 140 character diary? Of,
you know what?
like,
I kept that at first,
that
actually.
Okay.
And then that faded after a while, and I became just a non-Twitter user.
Yeah.
But now, like, I'm just so into it, and I just want to tweet all the time.
That's
and
awesome.
It's like I gained like a bunch of new followers, so I'm like, I was just so excited.
We all kept getting mad at you
trying
when
to
you were
impress
gone
them
because you kept getting more followers, and you're like, he's not tweeting anything, and he
yeah.
keeps getting more followers.
Yeah, no,
I should try
that's
that.
pretty. Yeah, you should try that.
Yeah, just don't tweet for a year. See what happens.
David, why don't you just quit?
Okay, all right, I'm gone. See, it's been fun.
Yeah. And I love Vine and Snapchat. I know you guys were just talking about that.
Well, so tell like why did you get so into that? You've been vining like crazy.
Well, so Vine is. I actually wrote an editorial about this at CES this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was this year, where it's like we get so much technology, but like I'd say like 98% of the stuff on that show floor was to consume media, basically.
Right. True.
And Vine is a way to create media, and it's, you know, Instagram is awesome, and in fact, like I see a lot of people who like, there's a lot of crosstalk between people who are great at Instagram and people who are great photographers.
Interesting.
And it even inspires photographers to be better, and photographers are on there following each other. Vine is like that for video, and like you are making little short films. Like you could just make a Vine of your face. You could be Ellis. You know, just be silly on camera, just ham it up for the crowd. You know? But like you can make little short films with it. I'm just excited. You know, it's a little higher barrier to entry. I understand that not everybody's going to want to do it, but I'm so excited to have an app that's creative. And then Snapchat is interesting because the exact reason that I think I am too into Twitter, it is the reaction to that. Where I am a performer on Twitter and I'm just basking in the attention I get on Twitter. But Snapchat is about the people that you're directing the Snapchats at.
I like that.
It's really, it's personal, and you don't get to glory in it forever. Mm-hmm. And even if you send an amazing Snapchat, the best that person can do is describe it to somebody else. They can't even show it to somebody else.
That's true. They can't retweet it or
so
resnap
it's really, really, really for the person or people you send it to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just, there isn't much on the internet like that.
See, that's like the first time anyone's ever made a compelling case to me for either of those apps. And like, I will say, have you seen the Vine competition they did at Tribeca for like the best 6-second videos? Some of the stuff people did was amazing. Yeah. Like incredible. It's like you said, short films. They're 6 seconds long, and you would think it would just be like, you know, goofy people staring at things, but it's not. Like people doing really cool stuff. And I think that's why I'm intimidated by it, because I'm like, I want to be good, and I suck.
I know, it's intimidating, and I already feel that like I'm probably not that good at it. I feel like I'm just goofing right now.
We had the one where you threw the frisbee.
That was great.
That was like a team effort of our. And
then I did like a pretty low end one today where I was like trolling Google Glass.
That's right, I saw that.
And it's like not edited very well. I should have like redone it. You know, I got to take pride in my vines, but. Yeah, it's just like doing something like that, and exercising a creative muscle is like so awesome, and that's what I did when I was a kid, and it's something that it's easy to like stop doing when you're just in consumption mode.
Yeah. So let's talk gadgets. So you gave up lots of stuff you had.
Yeah.
You were Mr. Gadget guy. You were the pixel density enthusiast for so long, and kind of gave all that up, and now you're back. Like, are you going to buy a smartphone? Are you going to buy, you have an iPad.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy a new one or a laptop? Like, what's struck your fancy since you come back?
I wanted like a data-only Android phone, because I never really got much of an experience with Android. And it sounds like it's just getting better and better, which is awesome.
It is.
And
you got to use the HTC first. Everybody loves it. Facebook phone.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it, because I don't think I want something that's so huge.
Okay. Fair enough. Because do you have your current phone on you, the like tiny little...
I left it in there. It's like a little Huawei Go phone.
Yeah, like if you had a phone in 1994, it sort of looks like that.
Yeah, it was like $20 outright. Like, not
It's
subsidized.
amazing. Yeah.
I don't have a contract on
Nice.
AT&T. I just have a $20
You just walked
phone.
into a store and gave them $20.
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
what does this buy me?
And then I'm gonna wait for the 5S.
Okay.
And I'm kind of impatient with Apple at this point. I thought I'm gonna upgrade on my laptop pretty soon. I thought there'd be a Retina MacBook Air by now.
It has to come eventually.
That's
right?
what I would think.
But
I'm not gonna wait forever.
Yeah, that's true. So,
I'm gonna get a MacBook Air. I'm not gonna wait for a Retina forever. And I think I might want to get. I'm trying to think if I want to get an iPad Mini or like a Kindle Paperwhite. Probably go with the Kindle because I already have an iPad 3 and everything is. I updated to 6 because I was on 5. Updated to 6 and everything is like a lot of times iOS updates like kind of bog your device.
You must have spent like an entire day updating stuff, by the way, just between like your computer and your iPad. It's like you would connect to the internet and all of a sudden.
Last night I spent a lot of time like updating things. I had to delete some stuff off my hard drive to make room for Mountain Lion. And
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about Mountain
But
Lion.
it wasn't that hard. So people are asking me about it, and to be honest, like I was update free for a year.
That's true.
So nothing broke.
It's payback now.
If there was some stuff on there that was broke, and so it was broke all year for sure.
Yeah.
But nothing that I had that was running at the start of the year wasn't running at the end of the year. That was kind of cool.
It's like the glass half full way to look at it.
Yeah, and also something I don't know if you know this. On the Xbox and PS3, if you get a game and you have an outdated firmware, and it asks you to update, if you're not connected to the internet, the new firmware is on the disc. Even with some Blu-ray movies, they will update your PS3.
So needing the internet is just kind of a lie.
I have the newest dashboard, as far as I know, on my Xbox. I have a pretty fresh dashboard on my Xbox because I bought a recent game and it updated it for me.
Nice.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Now
you and your always-on internet connections.
That's right.
Yeah. So anything else? Like, are you super psyched to be back to Netflix? Have you watched House of Cards yet?
No, that's a big thing. Is I haven't had. I don't think I'm gonna get Netflix at first. At least.
Okay.
I want to
ease back into it.
Yeah, like that's a really great place to binge. But I haven't had any time to really sit back and do anything. Like I really want to catch up on the music I missed.
Oh, interesting.
And I just haven't.
Were you going to like record stores and stuff like that, or did you just kind of ignore music for a year?
Like me and my roommate would go to like flea market and buy random records.
Nice.
He got me Graceland for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Did you play it on like your Victrola and?
No, we have a really nice record player.
Okay.
Like we have a good setup, and we really experience music. And like I don't want to be pretentious, but like I've kind of grown accustomed to like kind of sitting there and enjoying music.
Okay.
Or like when I do listen to something in the background, it's like while I'm writing, I've hunkered down, I'm doing one thing, and then music's going.
Okay.
But like the thought of trying to enjoy some of this new music that I haven't heard while like doing these billions of things.
Right.
So, and I haven't written anything since I got back. And I'm like, I want to describe my experiences to people, and like, I can't find the time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like you, one of the things you wrote in your piece, which you should all read if you haven't yet, it's wonderful. It was how you like slowly got used to reading books again, and I feel like that would be. I'm curious to see if that holds up for you, where like you have this long attention span for reading now.
Yeah.
I wonder how quickly that'll go away because it's shot for me. I can't read anything anymore,
I don't want to
really
lose that. You know, one of the things that like really, really, really hit me when I just started off the internet, I had the copy of the Odyssey, translated by Alexander Pope.
Okay.
He spent, I'm going to get this wrong. It's either 10 years or 20 years.
Wow.
Translating the Odyssey and the Iliad.
Wow.
And
Either
like,
way, it's a long time.
People didn't live that long back then. Like I don't know when it was, like the 1700s.
That was like three generations of people.
Yeah, like
he was the oldest man.
You
in the
know,
world.
like, and people have asked me, like, the year was a really long time, and it's like, I don't know, like, I think there are a lot of things that are easy and quick and fun to digest, but there are things that are valuable enough to not just spend 2 hours on, but maybe to spend a lot of time. I want to create things like that and consume things like that. And so I want to keep that long attention span just as much for creativity as for consumption.
So yeah, I mean, and that's sort of what's interesting about you liking Vine is, right? It's like cool ways to do stuff and you don't really need a long attention span, which is nice.
Yeah.
But do you, like, what else have you gotten into? Do you think you'll do sort of longer form things. Like there are all these cool apps for reading now, and there's, you know, Amazon has the cool thing where you can like listen to a book and then read the book. And do you think, are you just sort of staving off the horribleness of being back with technology, or do you think it, like, will it help you? Like a Kindle might help in that case, having something that actually, the Latin flashcards.
I'm like not even kidding.
No, it's true.
Because there is something about, like, because I have a bunch of books on Latin and a dictionary and stuff like that, and there's something, it's hard for me to get off the couch and get into something, and it's hard to keep going at it. It's just really tough. But like these educational games, they kind of come to you and they make it a little more fun. And I think stuff like that is going to be really great. I want to enjoy that kind of technology. I don't want to get into everything all at once. I want to keep some stuff for me. I don't know.
So what are you waiting on? You're waiting on Netflix. Is there anything else you're sort of worried about getting back into?
Other things?
Well, there's like Facebook. Are you getting back on Facebook?
I'm actually gonna. I want to do more Facebook than Twitter, or at least even it out a bit.
Okay.
Because my family's on Facebook.
Right.
Randos are on Twitter.
That's fair.
Awesome, wonderful randos that I'm so grateful for.
That I love dearly and individually.
No, like it's awesome talking to a bunch of people you don't know, but I also want to talk to people I do know. So I think I'm gonna try to be a little slow with getting back into Minecraft.
Okay.
I'm trying not to play Diablo for a while because that's a big time. So
yeah. And you were big into StarCraft before. That was like one of the games you really loved.
Like StarCraft is something that you have to train at. It's like going to the gym for a long time before you can be an athlete.
Right.
And so those are things where like I want to do them eventually, but I want to like know that I really have the time that's appropriate to set aside and I could really do it quality. I don't want to play Minecraft distracted. I want to play Minecraft and make something awesome in Minecraft and high five everybody in Minecraft and then, you know, go on to the next thing.
Okay. See, I like that. I feel like that's to like the perspective you sort of got from off the internet is like you can still do all these things, but you want to like do them. I feel like I do
one at a time.
I give 10 different things like 10% of my attention at all times, or like 1% of my attention for 100 things. And I kind of like the idea that you're like, I'm going to do one thing at a time, even though there's infinitely more things to do.
And the number one thing for me, and maybe it's sappy, but it's probably like people, dude. Like spending like 100% on a person is not to be trifled with. It's an awesome thing that I got to do for a year, and I'm already seeing myself a little distracted. And because now that I see it so vibrantly, and I think I could fade to a point where I don't think I'm distracted, but I am. Yeah. So I want to like shun stuff that might be distracting when I want to be spending time with people.
I like that. That's the reason don't get a smartphone. If you want to be that way, don't ever get a smartphone.
I can't tell. Do you think a smartphone would help me like win at email and get ahead of stuff and stay on top of things? And or is it just gonna distract me all the time?
I kind of love your idea of getting like keeping your old crappy phone for like voice and text, so that like goes everywhere with you all the time. And when you're just like getting, you know, walking around on the subway or something, you bring your data only smartphone. So you can do all that stuff, but then it's like
some Gmail on Subway.
Right, where it's like even if I'm with somebody and all I want to do is like be reachable by phone if like there's an emergency or something bad happens, I still have my phone and then it buzzes and it's all over.
Then you discover that Ellis made an amazing Vine.
Right,
and you have to watch it
I have to watch it and I'm like, hold on, girlfriend. Yeah. Just pause for 3 to 4 hours while I read Twitter. Yeah. And so I'm a big fan of your plan. I might steal your idea.
Please do.
All right, well, Paul, thank you. Go back to the internet. Go back and watch Vacuum Kitty.
I need
like
to take
400 times.
But then I'll watch Vacuum Kitty 4 more times.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good show, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back.
I've never watched an episode. But here,
and I can't even be mad at you about that. Yeah. I can't.
Well, you shouldn't.
All right. Well, anyway, that is our show. Thank you to Paul Miller, who's still right here. Thank you, Paul Miller.
Should I walk away?
And you can go. Whatever makes you happy.
Fine.
You could sit down. Just get out of my face right now, please. That's all I want from you.
Fine.
But thanks to Paul, and thanks to Ellis for being here, and thanks to Chris Ziegler, who I hope has committed Grand Theft Auto by now. And that is our show. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week with lots more on all sorts of different stuff, and we will see you then.